And Heidi, I'm turning it over to you.
All right. Awesome. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome. It is October the 17th, and I have the honor and pleasure of introducing our speaker tonight. I got to tell you, I think it was 2 years ago in Atlanta, Georgia, when I first kind of really got to know Tammy Lamason. I saw her sitting down. I recognized Tammy instantly from her efforts and all of the things that she's poured into us with the Pajama Regional. And I knew that she was related to a couple of my fun friends from the Heat team, Michelle Grensing and Aubrey Grensing. And so I just knew that I needed to talk with her and get to know her. And we sat for a while and really got to know each other. And it was probably one of the highlights of that conference for me, honestly. But Tammy is an NMD, and she lives near Chattanooga in Tennessee, where she is a devoted wife, a loving mom, and a proud Mimi with a background as a high school math teacher. I did not know that. That's cool. She ventured into entrepreneurship over 2 decades ago, finding her passion with Juice Plus. Tammy is dedicated to inspiring others to embrace whole and healthy lives, focusing on physical, financial, and spiritual well-being. Tammy also has passion to empower others to excel in their businesses and families by setting intentional boundaries. And I am really grateful that Tammy has been helping us as admin with the magic of 1 hour power hour. So thank you for that, Tammy. I'm just so excited that you're going to be speaking tonight for us about intentional boundary setting. So take it away, Tammy.
Thank you, Heidi. The true story is, I don't know who was at the Atlanta conference. Anybody here in Atlanta last fall? I think it was. It was so hard to get around. I was lost. I was by myself. And my husband said, please do not go outside until you find somebody you know. So I sat my butt right there on a bench. And Heidi came by and she sat with me. And then, you know what? It was just one of those. It was just, I feel like I call them God winks, because it's like God knew I needed Heidi right then. And she shared with me who she was. And it was just meant to be. And then we sat and talked for, I don't even know how long, 30 minutes and it just, so then I just felt that whole, okay. And then I was able to go, I don't know, maybe you directed me or you told me where I needed to go. I don't know. I was lost. So, but anyway, I didn't know my boundaries. I didn't know where to go. So thank you, Heidi. I appreciate that. Yes, boundaries is one of my most favorite topics, and I had to learn it the hard way, but thank you so much. Thank you to the entire Heat team. Thank you, Nikki, for having me on tonight. I really do hope that this topic brings value to you personally and to your business. I feel that there are probably others out there that are like me, and this may be the first time you hear about implementing boundaries. Maybe, you know, you're not familiar with that, but I'm really hoping that this does bring value to you. I don't want to step on your toes. However, when I went through learning about this, it did step on my toes, but it also transformed how I did my business, and it made a difference in my family. So that's the biggest part. So my intention is not to step on your toes, but to bring freedom into your life like it did mine. So I'm going to start out by asking you a few questions. You can use the chat feature, or if you're watching live on Facebook, maybe you can answer on Facebook as well. So let me ask you this. Put a 1 in the comment if you feel like this. Do you ever feel overwhelmed in your life? Do you get confused? Let me hear you about this. Do you ever get confused on what you should be doing and where you need to be focusing your time? Put a 2 there. Do you ever feel burnout? Let's go with 3. We'll make it easy. This one was huge for me. This is a 4. Do you ever experience guilt because of where you're focusing your time? Maybe you're on your team and business or whatnot, and you're supposed to be your family, or maybe you're focused on your family and you know you should be doing team business, and then there's guilt. Okay. All right. Number 5, this is for the leaders out there. Maybe you're on and you're brand new, and hopefully you'll take this to heart and not do some of the things that we did and trying not to do now. Do you feel that this is 5, are you enabling your team, or are you being duplicatable? And you don't have to put that out there if you don't want to, but enabling your team by doing everything for them instead of being duplicatable. Okay. So for most of us, we joined the Juice Plus business because we joined the company because we desire more time and financial freedom, right? That's what we are looking for. We want that flexibility is what I should say. So today I want to talk about boundaries and being intentional and how you can produce more productivity in all areas of your life. So all areas, personal and in business. Okay, but let's first talk about, how sometimes you can say, give me the bad news or the good news. What do you want first? So we're going to talk about what happens when you are ineffective with the time that you're given and you don't have boundaries. Okay, what happens when you don't have boundaries and you're ineffective with your time? Number 1, lack of momentum. You're always feeling like you got to start. Okay. It puts a strain on your family and relationships. You feel like you are always on. So lack of momentum. Number 2, you have a strain on family and relationships. Number 3, you are always on. That lifestyle is not duplicatable. You're always on, you can never be off. Okay, we're going to talk more about that here in just a little bit, but you don't always want to be on. Number 4, you're going to experience extreme burnout and overwhelm. We talked about that at the very beginning. And then number 5, if you do not have good boundaries and you're ineffective with your time, you allow your team to constantly expect things from you or your family. Okay, we've got to learn good boundaries. So you want to create and protect definite boundaries so you have the type of business you want in the end. And also your family is going to be very happy and thanking you for that as well. You want to build a business that you own and not a business that owns you. Let me say that again. You want to build a business that you own, not build a business that owns you. Right? You can have both personal success and business success with proper boundaries. One of my very favorite quotes, a lot of you know Catherine Lee. She's one of my very favorite people. I love her dearly. She made she said something at a boot camp. And I was like, I got to write that down. Like that was so good. And I'll never forget this quote. Do not sacrifice your family and priorities on the altar of success. And I may not say it exactly how she said it. I was just trying to write down, but do not sacrifice your family and your priorities on the altar of success. It's not going to end well, right? It's not going to end well. So let me just share an example. Let me back up a little bit. Back in 2002, we joined Juice Plus. In January 2002, so we're getting ready to celebrate 22 years with our Juice Plus business. We didn't have fast track back then, but if we did, we would have considered it fast track to sales coordinator. We got there within 6 months. Nikki can probably remember we had a owner's manual that was this thick, right? You had to have like a 3-inch binder to kind of go through the whole thing. So glad we have internet and online and websites. But at the same time we joined our Juice Plus, decided to do our Juice Plus business, my husband decided to quit his job as an employee of a physical therapy practice. And his dream had always been to open his own private practice. And I was excited for him. Our kids at the time, and I know my daughter-in-law is on tonight. I saw her name. But our kids, so she's married to my son, thanks to the Juice Plus business. So Michelle and I gave our Juice Plus speeches the same year, and our kids saw each other. It's just fantastic. And now we have a grandson. Okay, so sorry, I digressed a little bit. But we had 3 little kids at the time. And, I didn't know then what I know now. So if I had known then what I know now, I would have been able to do this business differently. But at the time, and for whatever reason, it is what it is. But I did stay connected, even though we were building Wendell's practice and doing all the things. I was a mom. At times I felt like I was a single mom because I was doing a lot of things while Wendell was gone, building the physical therapy practice. The kids were just little, like I said. And we took that and we grew for 11 years with the physical therapy practice, but I always stayed connected to my Juice Plus business. I mean, who doesn't want to stay connected to these fun people, right? These fun, juicy people. I went to all the conferences, I did the things, but I didn't grow my business right away. It wasn't until 2013, we were in Orlando and I listened to the NMD speeches. I came home so fired up, like now's the time. Now's the time I want to grow my Juice Plus business. We were still sales coordinators. I was ready to go all in. My kids were a little older now. My two sons were still at home. My daughter was in college. Josh was in 11th grade. Luke was in 8th grade. Here's what happened. I went all in and then I was on 24/7. And, you know, when you have goals, you want to be all in, you want to do the things, right? One day I'm in the parking lot picking Luke up from school, multitasking, you know, we got to do the things. I'm making customer care calls. I'm doing all the things. And he gets in the car and I immediately, shushed him because I'm on a customer call, like be quiet. And he looked at me and that look I'll never forget, but you always have to be on the phone when I get in the car. Y'all, that hit my heart. I can still feel what I felt that day. And I knew something needed to change. So I don't know if you've ever been there or if this is just me, but I knew that I was sacrificing my family. And that's why boundaries came into be. So I decided that day I was going to make a change. And guess what? I still made it to national marketing director in less than 3 years from the moment I said yes. And I had to completely rebuild my business, but I did it with boundaries. So how to avoid burnout and overwhelm and be successful in all areas, like we talked about. Number one, you're going to create boundaries. Number two, you're going to eliminate the randomness. And I can bet y'all, we all have a lot of randomness. And number three, we're going to set expectations right away with our team and our family. When you communicate, then you don't have unmet expectations. When you communicate with your family, when you communicate with your team. So these three things are going to result in more productivity and it's going to eliminate the burnout. It's going to eliminate the overwhelm. So let's talk about boundaries. Number one, clear rules when you will or will not be working your business. Be clear. Most people do not have clear boundaries in their business. A lot of us are never off. Even when we're with family, we're with friends, you're never off. It's this. And you're having a conversation, but you're never off. Again, I'm not here to step on toes. I'm preaching to the choir here, right? I want you to write this down. Be where you are. Be where you are. Periods of dedicated rest and renewal, that is so critical to you being able to reach your potential. The rest is the work you also need to do. There are times when you're going to be with others and life happens. I can remember being with some friends and one of my team members was going for a goal. And I had to share at the very beginning, listen, I have a team member that's going for a goal. Today's the last day of the month. And I'm so excited we get to have lunch. The only reason why I have my phone out is because she's, this is the last day and we're trying to put everything in. And they totally got it. I didn't hide it. I just put it out there at the very beginning. But normally I'm with friends and I'm with friends. The phone, that's why we have Voxer. That's why we have Project Broadcast. We can do business when we do business. That's why we have the magic of 1 hour. We can get a lot of business done in that time, right? So there are times where you need to put that away and you need to unplug. So put your phone away, be intentional with that time. It speaks volumes to your family. And they're going to learn to love your business more because it isn't competing with them. Is this speaking to anybody? Okay. So learning how to unplug and not work your business is just as important to your long-term success as the work that you actually do. Not stepping away on occasion is deadly to your business. A team needs to see that you're able to step away, not that you're always on. I can remember I had a team leader. She's no longer with the business, but she went on her 20th anniversary trip to, I don't even remember where, somewhere in the Caribbean, but she went live every morning in our team page. And I'm like, you've got to stop doing it. Well, I got to show them that I'm still working. I'm like, you're on your 20th anniversary trip. You need to go and be where you are. So anyway, what does that say to your team? If you're always on, you're answering Voxer at 11 p.m., you're answering Facebook messages within 30 minutes. There are times when that's critical, like I already said, when you've got promotions and stuff. But if it's like that all the time, that translates to your team. You don't respect your own time. And that your time doesn't have to be earned. If you don't respect your time, no one else is going to respect your time either. So you're going to duplicate that within your team, and eventually the team is going to be burned out. They're going to walk away. It's too much. People don't want that. And now, after we've gone through the last 3 years, people realize the importance of family, but you can have both. So what do you do and not do? All right, this is what we're going to do with our business. Again, this isn't to step on toes or point fingers. It's just sharing what I've learned. Number one, set business hours. Make sure you're doing the magic of 1 hour. Be part of that and be intentional. Heidi's done such an incredible job of creating the slides that you can be intentional with your DMO every single day. Protect those hours. Okay, I had to set hours between 7:30 in the morning and 8:15, no Voxer. And then 3:45 to 4:30 in the afternoon, no calls, no Voxer. I was with my boys. After that, do you know how much more peace there was? And then Luke would get in the car and be able to tell me about his day. And he's my one that likes to talk. And I was hindering that. I was squelching that. So schedule that time, protect that time. Be intentional with the people that you're working with. This is the next thing. Don't set business hours and then spend an hour of your time listening to a team member complain about what isn't happening in their business. The same person that called you the day before and the day before. You know what I'm talking about. Be intentional. That's why, getting on the magic 1 hour is so important. Don't enable. Number 3, don't enable your team by answering every question for them when they can find it on resources. Now, listen, this doesn't apply when you've got a brand new team member and they're so excited, they're pursuing you, you're helping them find that, but you know what I mean. We've got team members that don't even look. They just go to us or go, silent or whatever, and expect you to come up with the answers. They need to learn. So don't enable them, teach them. Teach them how to fish, the saying. Next, it's important for your team, like I said, for your team to see you not working just as much as you do. So when they see that you're also setting personal hours and they know that you had business hours, and those business hours may change, just like you may choose all the different options for that 1 hour each day. You may choose 2 of those hours. There's so many great options for you to be able to jump on. You're going to promote that lifestyle of freedom, rest, and renewal while you're being successful. We've heard so many success stories from people that have been intentional with that 1 hour of DMO. So just not like we're needing to live the lifestyle of healthy living, right? We want to promote this healthy living. That is part of it too. Promoting a healthy boundary around your time. Okay. Number 2, we're going to go into randomness. This was huge for me. This was huge. Overwhelm. If you were one of those that said, yes, I get overwhelmed. Overwhelm comes from spending way too many random hours doing your most important work. Overwhelm comes from a feeling of no control. When you are intentional during those set business hours, you're going to eliminate the randomness. So how do we eliminate the randomness? We've got to define our life's priorities, number 1. So we're eliminating randomness. How do we do that? Clearly define your life's priorities. What are they? If you were to say, what are the most important things in my life? Get clear on what that is. Most people say they don't have time to grow a business. It's never a time issue. Even if some have less time than others, if you can't successfully build your business on part-time, getting more time is not going to solve that. You've got to be able to set priorities. The problem is not a time issue, it's a priority issue. We make time for the things that are our priority. The next thing to eliminate randomness, and you're going to be like, okay, I've already heard this, Tammy, but you have to set those business hours. I actually decide on Sunday what my week is going to look like. I go ahead, I've got my planner. I'm a pen and paper girl. Some are, they like the iPhone and your calendar. I've got to write it down. I can look at my calendar and I like to see it out, and I can go on Sunday and write out when I'm setting those business hours for the week. Go ahead and set those out. Deciding what you're going to do before you actually do it, that's going to help. The next, focus 80% of your time on income producing activity, just like what the slides are in the magic of 1 hour. That's your DMO. And next, be intentional with that time and whom you are spending that time with. Okay, spend time with people that have earned your time. It's not our job to push and pull, pressure people to do this with us. Work with those that are pursuing you, that are showing action, that want, that are showing. Work with the workers. We've heard that several times. And let's not spend those hours just trying to put out a bunch of fires. That randomness just creates a bunch of chaos. Okay, DMO. I see the question on the side. The daily method of operation are what we're doing every day that's going to produce income. Those things that produce income. Cleaning my office. If I were to turn my camera around, you'd be like, whoo. But I have a bunch of stuff over here I want to sell on Facebook Marketplace. But organizing that during my business hours, is that going to produce an income for me in Juice Plus? No. So I want to, or cleaning my desk or dusting, or if I have set business hours, I'm calling the customers, I'm doing the social media, I'm working with my team, those types of things. So when you start setting those business hours, you have boundaries around that, you're intentional, you're going to see a difference in your day. The chaos and overwhelm is going to lift. You're going to feel less overwhelmed. You're not going to have any more guilt when you're doing other things, because guess what? You've already scheduled, protected, or it's scheduled and protected and you're going to do it, but you can be where you are. You're not thinking about, oh, I got to call them. Oh, I need to do that. Or you're not having to look at Project Broadcaster. You're not having to look at Facebook right then, because that's going to come when you have your set business hours. Does that make sense? I hope this is making sense. So once you implement a structure, you've got a system and a plan for those business hours, you're going to feel in control, not only of your life, but your family is going to love and start loving your business more. Okay. You will also eliminate randomness in your work when you write everything down that is a priority. Say yes to those things that are a priority to you. Learn how to say no. It is okay to say no. Right, Heidi? We've had this conversation. Okay. It's okay to say no. I was a people pleaser, and that was what I struggled with for so long. And when I learned it is okay to say, thank you so much for thinking of me. It's not going to work for me right now. Right now I'm, building my business, or you don't have to give excuses. You just have to say, it's not going to work for me right now. It's okay. If you're not one that can just flat out say no, it's okay to say that. You're protecting that. You're putting a boundary around that. And you're not stealing someone else's blessing. And I'll share this really quick, and I know that we're going to be finishing up here, but someone had asked me to do something and to be a volunteer for something. And I normally would have said yes. And then I would have grumbled and complained that I said yes. Have you ever done that? Okay. And this time I practiced what I preached, and I said, thank you so much for thinking of me, but it's just not going to work for me right now with everything that's going on. They said, okay, thanks. Like, I didn't have the feelings. I didn't say yes, and they were okay. I kid you not, just a few days later, a dear friend of mine called, and she said, you're not going to believe it. I've really been thinking about this, and I just didn't know where I fit in or what I could do. And so gave me a call and asked if I could volunteer for this. She was over the moon excited. It was exactly what she wanted to do. I didn't say a word. She still to this day, this is probably 10 years ago, she has no idea that I had been asked to do that. But you know what? If I had said yes, and I would not have wanted to do it, I would have grumbled and complained. I would have been stealing her blessing. She was so excited that she got to do this thing. So think about that when you don't want to do something. Okay. Your business depends on you. You're going to either make it a priority and put boundaries around where it's necessary, and you're going to see productivity, or you're not going to make it a priority. You're going to make excuses. You're not going to be intentional with your boundaries. You're going to feel burned out and you're going to feel overwhelmed. I desire for all to have clear boundaries so that we can create generations that have priorities in line and boundaries around the important things in their life and in their business. So go over these priorities with your team. Go over these priorities with your family. Write out the top 3 to 5 things that are your priorities for your personal life. For me, it's my faith, it's my family, it's my friends, it's my franchise, and it's fitness. Like I did that with all the F's, but those are my priorities, right? So write out what your priorities are. It's not that you're going to have them balanced in all of those areas, because it's not like that. But when you know that you have those priorities, sometimes some things take more priority over others. In your business, what's your priorities in your business? Customer care, team care, your events, follow-up, reaching out to new prospects. What are those priorities? Protect those priorities. It's so important for you to set those boundaries and expectations with your team, okay, right away. Eric Worre says you're not responsible for your team's success or failures. That has to be shared with them in the beginning. And I share with them in love that I'm not there, like I said, to push, pull, or pressure them, but to guide them and encourage them. So a team member of mine, I love this. She wanted to go to Disney with her family, and she knew her Juice Plus check would help with that. So she had her 3 girls create this big Mickey Mouse poster, and it said mommy's work hours or something like that, mommy's working. And so when she was going into the office to make those customer care calls, which she knew would be to help go to the Disney trip, the girls were so excited. Go, mommy, go in there. So make this a family thing. What is your family goal? I think that's so important. So put this in action this week. Here's your action. Set business hours. Get on the magic of 1 hour. Get your planner out, your DMO. Use highlighters if you need to. Write down your priorities for your family. Write down your priorities for your business. Schedule and protect it. Be intentional with that time that you have. And you need to eliminate that randomness. You need to lead by example, not only for your team, but also for your family. And when you have clear boundaries and we share that with our family and our team, I promise you, there's going to be so much more freedom in your life and in your business. And you're going to see your business grow, and you're going to see your family be super happy, and you'll be successful. So thank you so much. I hope that this was of value and that we all have great boundaries within our businesses.
Wow, that was amazing. And real quick before we go, and you did that in just like amazing time, by the way, it's dead on 6:30. But before we go, I just want you to share, I don't know if you're open to it, because Lisa's on your team, right? Lisa Mins, mine.
Yeah, Lisa Minnis. Yeah, is she on tonight?
Yeah. No, she's not on tonight, but
Actually, I'm here.
oh, there she is. Okay, Lisa.
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe you want, it's probably also better hearing from the horse's mouth. So Lisa joined the magic of 1 hour power hour and had all of the overwhelm that Tammy was just talking about.
Yep.
And she shared her experience of what the power hour, and this call's not about the power hour, but I mean, you know, when you schedule that 1 hour of focused productivity, it really is a game changer in your business. I know it has been for me, which is why I shared it with everyone. But can you share with everyone, you know, what that did for you?
It was exactly as Tammy was describing. I felt very overwhelmed, and basically she's describing what my life was like. And so she shared with me about what you were offering, Heidi, which I thought, oh my word, this sounds amazing. Having that structure, having that set aside, scheduled 1 hour, it's on the planner, it's scheduled and protected. And that has really helped me feel like, okay, I've done my hour. If I do nothing else the whole day, I homeschool 2 teen boys, and my husband works from home. Like, we have stuff, right? We all have stuff. If nothing else, I've done that 1 hour, and you provide such beautiful structure to that, that I feel as though, okay, I've done at least 1 hour. And if I follow your agenda, I've gotten a lot done. And usually I'm inspired to do maybe 15 more minutes or 30 more minutes without making it take over my day. But it's just that anxiety, the randomness has dissipated because of that structure. So it's amazing to
And
eliminate
Lisa
that
has even
randomness is
said-
huge.
I will brag on Lisa a little bit. She's even said, I think I'm going to get on a second one today. So, if the time allows, because you know what happens is that helps you to be focused and have all of that done, right? There may be a few extra things that you have to do, or a call that you have to do later on because of timing, and that's okay. But set those expectations and also clearly communicate with your family so that they are not exasperated with you. When you clearly communicate with your friends, family, whomever, those loved ones. So that's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm just reading. Thank you so much for sharing that, Lisa.
Of course.
When I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I had that anxiety too. Don't anymore, but I did used to. But just reading the chat here, and everyone's just so grateful. Great information. One of the best calls we've experienced in a while on the Heat team. Well done, Coach Tammy. And yeah, everyone's loving this call. So I just want to thank you so much for giving us your time, because I do know that you're in a different time zone and it's very late for you right now.
I did put makeup on for you all.
I can see you look beautiful. And for those of you that will be in Charlotte next week, you will get the chance to see Miss Tammy Lamason next week. What call do we have next week, Nikki? Do you want to close this out?
It's actually, first of all, Tammy, that call was just stunning. It really was so beautiful. It was wonderful. And lots of notes. And I hope people put this into practice. Go back and read it, because boundaries are key. I think Brene Brown says the 2 things that successful people have in common out of all her research, 2 things. Most important, number 1, compassion, and number 2, boundaries.
Wow.
When she talks about successful people. So I think you just really nailed it. Next week is conference week. So we will not be having any calls during conference week. And if you're not coming to conference, take some time for yourself to the times that you would have been in conference. Go to the Heat YouTube channel, and listen to some trainings. We have trainings from the past several years from top NMDs. And Tammy, honestly, this is one of the best trainings I can think of we've had in really some time. Everything about it was right on, just nailed it. But take this time, if you're not coming to conference, to be in university, be in long distance university while we're gone and we're learning. Just because you're not there is not a good excuse to not move yourself forward and learn as much as you can. So take some time to do that. And so I just really want to thank you. And Heidi, thank you for scheduling this. This is like, wow for me. And everybody just make yourself not muted. God. and I know. And give a shout out to Tammy, a heat warm thank you. So
love you.
Lots of love.
Thank you so much, Tammy.
Thank you, Tammy.
Oh,
Can't
wait to see you in
Thank you so
Charlotte.
much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Tammy.
Awesome. Thank you.